All right, thank you for tuning in just for fun. Where if it ain't foreign, it's boring. We got a 2000 GT, 2017, I believe, BMW GT. That one is done. I was able to get the engine in. It's running. Just gotta finish it up, but it's running. This GT right here, we have to do a fuel pump. I tested the fuel pump out. I had to remove the seats. The fuel pump is already out. I had to remove the seats. I wanted to show you guys how they take the seats out of this bad boy. So the seats on this one here, if you look right here, there's actually 4 bolts. Well, more than 4, but there's bolts right here underneath the seat, right? You'd have to pull on the bottom of the seat, yank it forward, after you lay the seat down to get the seats out. I'm going to show you guys what the seat look like. So on these seats right here, you see the back bracket? And you'll notice that in the front of the seat right here, there's a little tab. So what you do is you'll pull the side right here of the seat to lay the seat down all the way. After you lay the seat down all the way, you'll come in the front and you'll yank it forward. You're gonna slide underneath the seat to unbolt the T50 torque bolts underneath the seat and behind the seat. And you're gonna have to do both seats to get to the back so you can get access to the fuel pump. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace that fuel pump in there. I already got the old one out already. Now, we're gonna put the new one in real quick. I'll go ahead and get that. All right. I gotta get something to mount the phone. Or maybe I could get my chest mount to see if maybe we can mount it on my chest. Right now, let's just use the stand. All right. All right. So now, what we're gonna do is inside here. There's gonna be. Let me see if I can show you guys real quick. So inside, you'll notice that I have this little tab that goes into the fuel pump, and also this one here. You're gonna have to move these out of the way. So you can push one to that side. Yep. So you get it over there. And then you're gonna push the other one away to the other side. Okay, you'll get to those later. Now there's a plug connector that plugs into the bottom of the actual fuel pump. It's right here, that's the plug connector. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna first move this plug connector out of the way, because the first and foremost, the fuel pump bottom half has to stick up in this little section here, and you don't want nothing in your way when you do that. That's why you want to move everything out of your way ahead of time before you even start that process. This stuff has been in the same position for so long that, you know, it's set in its ways. So it's difficult to, like, get it to stay away for a little bit. So you gotta try to, like, get it to jam away. If not, like they say in show business, the show must go on. So let me go get the new fuel pump so we can install it. Now, we got the brand new fuel pump. First thing you're gonna do, you're gonna stick the bottom half in there first. Okay? Now you wanna watch the orientation of the fuel pump because it goes in a certain way. Okay, now there's a double tab right here in the front of the fuel pump that's aiming forward, and then you got 2 single tabs on the side. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna uncap my fuel pump, because you don't want to drop any debris inside the fuel tank, because then you'll be fishing stuff out of the fuel tank. You want to give yourself a visual inspection, make sure this is tight, there's nothing going inside the fuel tank, and then you want to stick your bottom half into the fuel location, into the housing for the fuel pump. Now remember, you want to keep everything out of your way when you're doing that, so that you're not smashing any of these plugs or pinching any wires, because that's the last thing you want, is a pinch wire inside the fuel tank. That can cause some problems. Okay, now I'm gonna drop that in there. Now, before I even drop that in there, I want to show you guys how I got it in there and the alignment, so you can see. So now what I did was I went ahead and I put it in there, and there's 2 tabs, the one right here in the front on the side and the other one on the other side. I make sure I line those in, and I'm gonna snap that in there. And when I snap that in there, I want to make sure that it is secured and there's nothing in the way from the, you know, see the fuel pump is snapped in there. It's snapped in there pretty well. Now remember those 2 hoses I told you to get out the way? Now you can get those back and you can snap those in. See, that's the first one right there. I'm gonna snap it in this nipple right there. See that? Snap that in. Boom. And then you're gonna tug on it a little bit to make sure that it's snapped in. You don't want to just snap it in there on the Hail Mary and feels good. Gotta make sure. Now I'm gonna move that hose into place, but I'm gonna make sure my wire harness is not in the way. You feel me? And then I'm gonna snap that in. Boom. Nah, that's snapped in. Now that I made sure I snapped that in, I heard it snap, and I tug on it a little bit to make sure. Now, if we look down inside here, you'll notice that there's a hole right up in here, down up in there. That hole is the location of where we're gonna set this guy. Right here in my hand, this guy. He goes right up in there. And we're gonna slide him up in there and put him right up in that hole. All right. Now, let me go ahead and do that. I need both my hands to do that. And I'm gonna need a flashlight. Now, what did I do with the flashlight? All right, bear with me right here. I'm gonna go grab the flashlight, guys. 1 second. Houston, we have a problem. The flashlight has gone AWOL. Another thing, a mechanic work. Try not to lose the flashlight. What the hell did I do with the flashlight, man? All right, I got the flashlight. Now, stick this guy up in here. You want to be careful with the line, not break it. It's all delicate pieces. Even though we got lifetime warranty on this damn thing, we don't want to break it. Why did they do the fuel pump design this way? I don't know. But for some odd reason it is this way. I'm gonna stick my arm in there. Put that in the top. Get up in there. Now, let me show you guys what was so difficult about that installation. So if you look inside the fuel tank, there's a location inside the fuel tank, deep down in there. Let me see if I could aim the phone right. For a second. If I can get the phone out in there. So deep down in there, you see that? Right there, you'll notice the little silver valve right there. It snaps into that little location in there, and the line has to be routed and snapped into location. If not, the fuel won't return to the tank correctly, which it has to be lined up in the right orientation. All right. Now, this is a crucial moment right now because there's two different sensors. Okay, so now not only do you have to plug in the bottom here, because there's a white plug that, if you guys remember, we kept out of the way there. That white plug has to be plugged in. And that's what we're gonna do now. Plug that bad boy in there. Let me see if I can find them. See if I can fish it out there. Now that we got that plugged in, we got to make sure we check our work, make sure everything's plugged in, make sure everything is good. And we can't forget the crucial part. There's a actual sensor that goes right on top. Right here. There's this guy. He snaps right on, but I put him on last. We'll put him on last. So for right now, let's go ahead and line that up. All right, we got everything in. Because there's a special orientation that this has to go in. Okay, now that we got that in there, okay, we gotta like get the top one, but not having a cameraman is not the easiest thing in the world. So I'm gonna try to set the camera down for a second, and hopefully I don't drop it. Now there is this plate right here. Now this plate right here has to go on top, and we gotta lock it in place with that plate. Now I'm gonna try to do that here with the camera on one hand and no cameraman. Forgive my cameraman skills. I need a cameraman. Hiring a cameraman. All right, I'm gonna have to put the phone down for a quick second, just so I could put that this top piece on, because if I let go of the fuel pump, it's gonna spring back up. So bear with me, okay? Sorry about that. All right, bro. Sorry about that. So now that we got this little ring on, a little bit, right, we gotta tighten it on there to make the ring seat properly on top of there. So now, don't forget we have this little sensor here, right? We're not gonna sit it on top of here and then start hammering away at this thing. So what we're gonna do is keep this away from here for right now. And then we're gonna grab a hammer, and it's hammer time. And we're just gonna try to lock that into place. Now, if you look right here, there's ridges on here, right? So that's gotta slide into place here to lock in. Please don't mind my hands. It looked like that because it was in gas. So whenever your hands go in gas, it gets ashy immediately. So anyway, so now look, when you turn this right here, because you're gonna have to hit it right here on the edge to get this to twist and lock into place. So you want this tab to go up as far as you can get it to lock that into place so that the fuel pump don't pop back out. You feel me? All right, so now we're gonna get a punch, right? We're gonna stick it right here on the edge like that and hammer it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Get some good leverage so we can hammer it. But let me put the phone back on the stand so everybody can watch. me show you guys what we're up to. So if you look right here on the tab, you'll notice that the tab twisted a little bit. You see where it's at now? It started over here, now it's shifted over here. Now we do want to get it over at least 2 teeth over and not leave it right here. A lot of technicians will leave it here and they'll be done, but you're not done. We got to lock that into place. So we do want to whack it and make sure it's in the place so that it doesn't pop out. You feel me? All right. But look, I just noticed something. So look, I got to take it back out because look, right here, the seal pinched. That's not a good thing. So now we got to take it back out because that seal has to sit in there. If the seal is not sitting in there properly, then that means you're going to have vapor leak. Somebody lights a cigarette in the car, you start a fire. So, because gas flames start with the vapor. It doesn't start with the actual liquid. You can actually take fire out with gas. So now I got to open this back up, and we got to make sure that seal is sitting in there. And this is where you got to be visually oriented, yo. Make sure everything is done correctly. Now I'm going to go back in there, take that back out, and make sure we good.